Ever turned on your kitchen faucet or bathroom sink and noticed the water is barely trickling out? Maybe it used to have great pressure, and now it feels like it's lost half its power. Most people just live with it, or they assume something is wrong deep inside their plumbing that's going to cost them a fortune to fix. But here's the thing. 9 times out of 10, low water pressure in a faucet comes down to one of 5 hidden causes that are surprisingly easy to fix yourself. In this video, I'm going to walk you through all 5 of those causes step by step so you can figure out exactly what's going on with your faucet and get that pressure back to where it should be. Plus, stick around to the end, because I've got a bonus tip that will help you prevent low pressure from ever coming back. Let's get into it. Low water pressure is one of those problems that sneaks up on you. It starts slow, and before you know it, you're standing at the sink wondering why it takes forever to fill a pot of water. The good news is you don't need to be a plumber to diagnose and fix this. Once you understand what causes it, the fix is usually straightforward. So let's start with the basics. Before you grab any tools, it really helps to understand how water gets to your faucet in the first place. Your home has a main water supply line that comes in from the street or from your well. That main line splits off into smaller lines that feed every fixture in your house. Along the way, the water passes through shut-off valves, supply hoses, and eventually through the faucet itself, which has internal parts like cartridges and aerators that control the flow. Any one of those points can become a bottleneck. Think of it like a garden hose. If you kink it in one spot, the water slows down at the end. Same idea here. Something somewhere along that path is restricting the flow, and our job is to figure out where. Now that you have the big picture, let's start narrowing it down. The very first thing I want you to do before you touch a single tool is go to the faucet that's giving you trouble and test both the hot and the cold water separately. Turn on just the hot side and pay attention to the pressure. Then turn it off and turn on just the cold side. This is really important because what you find here tells you a lot about where the problem is. If only the hot water is low and the cold is fine, you know the issue is somewhere on the hot water side, maybe in the hot supply hose, the hot shutoff valve, or even the water heater. If only the cold side is weak, then the problem is isolated to the cold supply. But if both sides are low, that usually points to something at the very end of the line, like a clogged aerator, or possibly a problem with your main supply. This one simple test saves you a ton of time, because instead of guessing, you now know exactly which direction to look. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people take apart the wrong side of their plumbing because they skip this step. Take 30 seconds and test both sides. It makes everything easier from here on out. Now let's talk about hidden cause number 1. And this is the most common one by far. Your aerator. That little screen piece that screws onto the tip of your faucet, that's your aerator. Its job is to mix air into the water stream so it flows smoothly and doesn't splash everywhere. But over time, tiny bits of sediment, mineral buildup, little pieces of rust, and even sand can get trapped in that screen and slowly choke off your water flow. To check it, just unscrew the aerator by hand. Most of them twist right off counterclockwise. If it's stuck, wrap a rag around it and use a pair of channel lock pliers to gently loosen it. Be careful not to scratch the finish on your faucet. Once you have it off, take a close look at the screen. If you see buildup or little pieces of debris caught in there, that's likely your culprit. What I like to do is take the aerator apart. There are usually 2 or 3 small pieces inside, the screen, a flow restrictor, and a rubber washer, and soak them all in plain white vinegar for about 30 minutes. That dissolves the mineral deposits. Then rinse everything off, put it back together, screw it back on, and test your pressure. You'd be amazed how often this one simple fix brings the pressure right back. If the screen is really damaged or corroded, just replace the whole aerator. They cost about $3 to $5 at any hardware store. Just bring your old one with you so you get the right thread size. By the way, if you're finding this helpful so far, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss future videos like this one. All right, let's keep going. Hidden cause number 2 is one that people overlook all the time, and that's your shutoff valves. Every faucet in your home has shutoff valves underneath it, usually 2 of them, one for hot and one for cold. They're those little oval-shaped handles, or sometimes small, lever-style handles sitting right where the supply hoses connect to the pipes coming out of the wall. Here's what happens. Sometimes during a previous repair, or even during a routine check, someone turns a shutoff valve down and never opens it all the way back up. Or over the years, the valve handle gets bumped and partially closes without anyone noticing. Even a quarter turn can make a noticeable difference in your water pressure. So get under your sink with a flashlight and take a look at both valves. If they're the oval handle type, make sure they're turned fully counterclockwise, all the way open. If they're the lever type, the lever should be in line with the pipe, not at an angle. I've been on jobs where the homeowner spent weeks thinking they had a major plumbing problem, and it turned out someone had just bumped the shutoff valve under the sink. It's an easy thing to miss, but it's a quick fix when you catch it. While you're down there, check to make sure the valves themselves aren't leaking or corroded. If a valve looks like it's covered in green or white mineral crust, that's a sign it might need to be replaced down the road. But for now, just make sure it's fully open and move on. Now here's hidden cause number 3, and this is the one that was the exact problem in a job I worked on not too long ago. Debris inside your supply hoses. Your supply hoses are those flexible braided lines that connect from the shutoff valves up to the underside of your faucet. Over time, little bits of sediment, rust flakes, and mineral chunks can break loose from inside your pipes and get caught inside these hoses. When that happens, it's like putting a filter in the middle of your water line. The water has to squeeze past all that junk, and your pressure drops. Here's how to check it and flush it out. First, turn off the shutoff valve for the side that has low pressure. Then put a small bucket or bowl underneath the connection point, because a little water is going to come out when you disconnect the hose. Now grab a wrench. Most supply hose fittings take a 7/16" wrench, but I keep an adjustable wrench handy because sizes can vary. Loosen the hose where it connects to the shutoff valve. As it comes loose, let the water drip into your bucket. Once the hose is disconnected at the bottom, here's the trick. Leave the top end of the hose still connected to the faucet. Then turn on the opposite side's shutoff valve briefly. What this does is push water backward through the faucet and down through the hose you disconnected, flushing out any debris into your bucket. Let it run for about 5 to 10 seconds and then shut it off. Take a look in that bucket. If you see little chunks, sand, rust particles, or any kind of grit, you just found your problem. I've seen pieces come out of these hoses that were big enough to almost completely block the flow. Now reconnect that hose. When you screw it back on, start it by hand first. You want it to thread on smoothly and easily. If it feels like it's catching or it's hard to turn, stop. Back it off and try again. Cross-threading a supply hose fitting is a really common mistake, and once you strip those threads, you're going to have a leak on your hands. Hand tighten it until it's snug, then give it about a quarter turn with your wrench. That's all you need. Don't over-tighten it because you can crack the fitting or damage the rubber washer inside. Once it's connected, turn the shutoff valve back on slowly and then dry everything off with a rag. I mean, get it completely dry around the fitting. Then wait a few minutes and check for any moisture. If it's dry, you're good. If you see even a tiny drip, give it just a slight turn more with the wrench. Hidden cause number 4 goes a little deeper, and that's a failing cartridge or valve inside the faucet itself. Most modern faucets, whether they're single handle or double handle, use a cartridge inside the faucet body to control the flow of water. Over time, these cartridges can get gunked up with mineral deposits, or the internal seals can wear out, and that restricts how much water can get through. If you've checked the aerator, the shutoff valves, and the supply hoses, and you're still getting low pressure, the cartridge is the next place to look. Now, replacing a cartridge is a little more involved than the other fixes we've talked about, but it's still very doable. First, make sure both shutoff valves are completely closed and relieve any remaining pressure by turning the faucet on for a second. Then you'll need to remove the faucet handle. Most handles have a small set screw either on the back or hidden under a decorative cap on top. Use a small Allen wrench, usually a 3/32 inch or a 7/64, to remove that screw. Once the handle is off, you'll see the cartridge sitting inside the faucet body. Some cartridges pull straight out, and some have a retaining clip or nut that you need to remove first. Here's my advice. Before you pull that cartridge out, take a picture of it with your phone. Note the brand of your faucet if you can find it. Then take the old cartridge to the hardware store and match it up exactly. Cartridges are not universal. A Moen cartridge won't work in a Delta faucet and vice versa. The replacement usually costs somewhere between $15 and $30. When you install the new one, make sure it's oriented the same way the old one came out. That picture you took will come in handy. Slide it in, replace the retaining clip or nut, put the handle back on, and turn your water back on. In most cases, this completely restores the flow. Now, hidden cause number 5 is the one nobody wants to hear, but I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't mention it. Hidden leaks or corroded pipes. If you've gone through causes 1 through 4 and nothing has fixed the problem, there may be something going on behind the walls or under the floor. Oh, see, pinhole leak in a pipe can quietly reduce your water pressure without any visible sign of water damage, at least not at first. And if your home has older galvanized steel pipes, the inside of those pipes can corrode and build up scale over the decades until the opening inside the pipe is a fraction of what it used to be. If you suspect this might be the issue, there are a couple things to check. Look at exposed pipes in your basement or crawl space for any signs of moisture, green discoloration, or white mineral deposits on the outside of the pipe. Check your water meter. Write down the reading, make sure every faucet and appliance is turned off, and then check the meter again in 30 minutes. If it's moved, you've got a leak somewhere. For corroded galvanized pipes, the long-term fix is a repipe, usually with copper or PEX tubing. That's a bigger job and probably one where you'll want to bring in a professional. But at least now you know what's going on and you can make an informed decision about how to handle it. Let's talk about some common problems you might run into along the way and how to deal with them. First, if you fix the pressure on one side, but now the other side seems weaker, that can happen when debris that was stuck in one line shifts over to the other. Just repeat the process on the other supply hose and flush it out the same way. Second, if you take the aerator off and the pressure is great without it, but drops again when you put it back on, that tells you the aerator itself is the problem. Don't just clean it, replace it. A new one is only a few dollars and it's not worth fighting with a worn-out screen. Third, if you disconnect a supply hose and barely any water comes out when you flush it, your shutoff valve might not be opening fully even though the handle turns. Older gate-style valves are notorious for this. The gate inside corrodes and gets stuck partially closed. If that's the case, you'll want to replace that shutoff valve. Quarter-turn ball valves are the better option. They're more reliable and they give you full flow. Fourth, if you notice the pressure is low at every fixture in your house, not just one faucet, the problem likely isn't at the faucet level. Check your main shutoff valve where the water enters the home. Make sure it's fully open. Also check your pressure regulator if your home has one. Those can fail over time, and they usually need a professional to replace, though the part itself is only about $50 to $70. Fifth, if you replace the cartridge and the pressure is still low, double-check that you installed it in the correct orientation and that the retaining clip is fully seated. A cartridge that's even slightly out of alignment can restrict flow. Pull it back out, compare it to the picture you took, and try again. The good news is, if you work through these 5 causes in order, you're going to catch the problem in most cases, before you ever need to call a plumber. Now for that bonus tip I promised you at the beginning, and this one is a real game changer. Once a year, I recommend doing a quick supply line flush on every faucet in your house. It takes about 5 minutes per faucet, and it prevents sediment from building up to the point where it causes a pressure problem. Here's exactly how to do it. For each faucet, turn off both shutoff valves underneath. Disconnect the supply hoses at the valve end. Put a bucket under each one, and then briefly open the shutoff valves one at a time to let a burst of water flush any sediment straight into the bucket. You're basically clearing the lines before anything has a chance to accumulate. While you've got the hoses off, take a quick look at the rubber washers inside the fittings. If they're cracked or flattened, replace them. A small bag of assorted faucet washers costs about $2, and having fresh washers in there keeps your connections leak-free. I do this every January, right around the time I'm checking my water heater and replacing furnace filters. It takes me maybe 45 minutes to go through the whole house, and I haven't had a pressure problem in years because of it. Think of it like changing the oil in your car. It's a small bit of maintenance that saves you from a much bigger headache down the road. So that's everything you need to know to diagnose and fix low water pressure in any faucet in your home. If this video helped you out, do me a favor and subscribe and hit that bell icon so you get notified when I post new videos. And if you've got any questions or you've run into a problem I didn't cover, drop it in the comments below and I'll do my best to help you out. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in the next one.